Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots. Bootlicker, shills, death slicers, peasants, vassals, minions, meat sacks. I'm Useful Idiot. Welcome. And let's go to the USA and talk about Ted Cruz and his advisors. I just did two videos on Trump and Sanders and some of his advisors, and I did one on Ted Cruz before because Ted Cruz is a prime example of what I'm talking about when I'm talking about retreads, bootlickers, warmongers, neocons, and the Project for a New American Century types that I always look for in these presidential advisors. And of course, Ted Cruz already had hired Elliott Abrams, who is an arch Zionist and a warmonger and a neocon, and part of the Project for a New American Century crowd. And he also signed up Frank Gaffney. And I know this is slightly old news, but I wanted to point it out that Ted Cruz is lining up exactly what we don't want to see in the government. These GOP diehards, these liberal diehards that keep following people around back from the Reagan administration and the Clinton administration, and we really need to get rid of those people. So we have Frank Gaffney. Turns out he's on the board of the Clarion Fund, which is a huge Islamophobic Zionist organization that spreads a lot of disinformation about Muslims. And it's already hard enough to keep track of information about Islam in the world and these trends without people like that coming along and just fanning the flames and spreading so much disinformation. And he's what a lot of people call conspiracy theorists. And there's all kinds of conspiracy theorists, of course, because people believe in a wide range of different things. I tend to fall along the lines of things that are fact, conspiracy fact. And I know there's a lot of people that feel the same way that Gaffney does, but I'm going to run down a list of some of the things he believes. He believes that Obama is in league with the Muslim Brotherhood and that the Muslim Brotherhood has infiltrated the government. And that has been debunked, and I'll attach some of that below, but people still believe that. He's also a birther and thinks that Obama's a Muslim and thinks that Obama's born in Kenya, and I know there's a lot of people that believe that as well. I don't even want to get involved in that issue. Whether it's true or not really is kind of a moot point right now. Frank Gaffney also believes that Saddam Hussein had something to do with the bombing the World Trade Center at 9/11, and also thinks that Saddam Hussein had something to do with the Oklahoma City bombing. Both of these just utterly preposterous. So we can pretty much label him a nut for thinking that. In fact, many in the GOP even call him a, quote, crazy bigot, unquote. So he's so crazy that even the warmongers and the neocons think he's crazy. And he also thinks that the United States is planning a military invasion of Israel at some point for its own protection. And so those are kind of some of the things that he believes. He even wrote a book, a 2010 book on Sharia, the threat to America. Part of that crowd that thinks that the 1%, less than 1%, I think it's 0.9% U.S. population is Muslim, and yet somehow Sharia law is going to take over the entire country. And so he's one of those as well. And also he's served in the Reagan administration, and also was a protege of Ron Perla, who's one of the architects of the Projects for a New American Century. To be fair, though, it turns out that Donald Trump has even cited some of the material that Frank Gaffney's produced. So Trump will use this guy's material, but fortunately, at least, didn't hire him to be an advisor. But Ted Cruz made up for it and hired this crazy warmonger nut. And so there we have it, Ted Cruz. He's got Elliott Abrams there on his crew, and he's got Frank Gaffney on his crew. I wonder who he's going to hire next. Donald Rumsfeld, John Bolton, maybe Michelle Bachmann. Maybe Michelle Bachmann could be his vice president. I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too.